Welcome. This is the History Makers. I'm your host, Charles, CEO Tieno. I bring you top conversations, the conversations about people, about life, the conversations which are deeper in insights. And today, I'm privileged to host one of my good friends, an Olympian, a man who's won many titles for this country, on the tracks, and still off track is doing wonderful things. Mr. Wilfred Bungei, the 800 meters champion. Where are the Googles?
Well, Giles, unfortunately, I don't have today. And you know, when you grow old, you start wearing what is supposed to assist your eyes. So I think, but I'll make sure that next time, I'll have them.
Those were very special, my friend.
Well, absolutely. I think you have asked a very interesting story, because most people, they were asking me, Wilfred, you became almost like the first Kenyan, to be running with eyewears.
Yes.
And many people were asking me, why are you running with eyewears? Okay, number one, it was, sponsored.
Yes.
Then number two, it's that brand that you want to change, because for us, we are always known to wear the, the singlet, that we run. But for me, I was using what we call the full body run, the full body kit. So it was kind of like something different,
It was new, fresh,
yes. Absolutely, yeah. Because you can imagine, I started using in back in around 1999.
Yes.
That I think at that time, few Kenyans were having eyewears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the designer of that?
Well, actually, I was working with Adidas, and therefore I was always provided by Adidas. And what I mean by sponsorship, Giles, is that you are being paid for it.
Yes.
So this is something that you wear them because you are advertising for the Adidas.
Yes.
So always I would get a number of eyewears that I had to use every now and then. But then again, something that became so much interesting to me, there's those things, especially when you're a sports person. I think most of our, or maybe your viewers might have seen, some guys that would have something that they do when they are running. So for me, it happens that in 2001, I decided to run with them, and I won my first medal as a senior. And therefore, it became part of me. It became something that, if I put on, I feel like, it is me.
Yes.
Because it was working more on psychological.
Reception internationally, how would people view you? Because everyone has a trademark. Wilfred Bungei's trademark was there. And everyone would know whenever you step on that lane. 800 meters is a quick race, 2 laps.
Well, actually, I think when it comes to that, I think it became kind of like trademark the way you have put it.
Yes.
Because I would step out of the field without the eyewears, and most of the time you would find that maybe people might not know who I am. But the moment I put on classes like this, everybody will know this is the 800 meters champion, or at least, these are those athletes who are running 800 meters. So it became a kind of like trademark, and I was happy with it, to have been able to bring a different perspective of how we regard sports, especially in this country. I remember when I won Olympics in 2008, and I came back here, and because I was again the team captain, the first thing that the Prime Minister then, Raila Odinga, was like, we were, all of us were watching 800 meters, and then here is a Kenyan who is running with eyewear. We never knew whether he was a Kenyan or was an American. So it was kind of like a brand, which is actually something that I think it is imperative for all sportsmen and women of this country to have something different that they do.
And to brand themselves.
And brand themselves, yeah. Because, there's actually, when you use the word branding, number one, if you look at Kenyan sportsmen and women, they are underpaid.
Completely.
Ask me why they are always underpaid, whether it is by appearance fee, whether it is contract basis, from kitting companies. It is because of, we don't brand ourselves. We are always too much traditionalist. And that is not what sport is at the moment. It has become something like a show.
Sports is a show. But you brought a very interesting aspect that we do not know, as our athletes still do not know how to brand themselves. Where do we go wrong? How should they approach it? Because I know, if you look at in Kenya today, there's NN running team, which sponsors Kipchoge and the team. There's another running team, those Brother Commonwealth's, Rudisha's team.
Yes.
So how is this thing harnessed together to bring it together?
I think first and foremost, it starts with the coach.
Yes.
Number two, it comes with those who surround the athletes themselves.
Yeah.
Because you have got to understand that, sports at the moment has become, because by the time Nike, Adidas, Puma is paying you a certain amount of money, they need to see you as they need to see the show.
Yes.
Even when you win, they need to see that. Yeah. But you see, for a very long time, and especially during our time, Kenyan athlete will win a race, and then the moment he finishes in the line, instead of doing the victory lap, round, they disappear into the changing rooms, which is not something that it is not supposed to be. So I think this lies more on the coach. It lies on the manager. I would not put even Athletics Kenya or our federations for that purpose when it comes to other sports, but mostly those people who are in charge of those athletes. They are the ones who are supposed to make these athletes understand that they are a brand.
But these athletes, are they taught that you should ask for more money for appearance? Because appearance, most of them are underpaid, as you say.
Absolutely.
And then there's also when the winning bonuses, which they are not given as supposed to be given.
Yes.
So how do we change that?
First and foremost, it is the athletes themselves. Because I think we have very few Kenyan athletes that I would be able to think, when you think about the brand they created for themselves, I would put someone like Ezekiel Kemboi.
Yes.
He was a brand of his own, fantastic.
Fantastic.
So at the moment now we have Faith Kibiagon. She's very good. She's really very good. So those are a few numbers that I can be able to mention. I think where it lies, and especially when it comes to contracts, you see, Giles, a contract will come because that company will want to pay you because you will be able to advertise their merchants.
Yes.
If you don't do that, then automatically, you are underpaid. And that is why if you look at Americans, they are talking about millions, especially for Olympic champions, in terms of US dollars. And if you look at Kenyans, mostly of them, they would be doing maybe 50,000, 60,000 per year, which is actually underpaid. Because if there's no way that you will have an American athlete who maybe they have a silver medal, or European athletes, they get a silver medal in Olympics or World Championships, and when you look at their contract, it is always almost like 5 times bigger than the African athletes for that purpose, which is so shameful to say so.
So is it that our government, is it our federation, is it ourselves, we don't know how to negotiate?
No. Purely it is about the athletes themselves. That is, the athletes themselves, because you have got to brand yourself. Number 2, it is also about the agent. The agents are the only ones who are negotiating the contract for every athlete.
Yes.
Actually, federations and Kenyan government doesn't come in on anywhere in terms of prize money, in terms of contracts. There is nowhere that they come in. So it is purely on the European agents, because I mean, if you look at most Kenyans, they are managed by Europeans. So it is something that they need to push for African athletes to be paid, and especially for Kenyan athletes to be paid far much better than what it is at the moment.
Is there any chance we'll have an African agent, a Kenyan agent, or that door is shut?
I think that is the best question Giles have been asked.
Yes.
I feel it's so shameful for us Africans that we are underpaid. Go, for example, even footballers.
Yes.
You cannot compare with Europeans. Now, this is a problem that is coming from the agents. Is most of the time they are Europeans. If I, Wilfred Bungei, today chooses to be an agent, I will not get a chance to enter an athlete into a race. Why? Because the race organizers themselves, they are always looking at themselves. They are always looking at their own. So we do not, actually I don't think, especially let me talk about during my time, there was no any African agent. That is for sure. Whatsoever, there is no African agent. And that is why I say it is still a challenge, because it starts with number 1. If today I make a choice to be an agent, if I want to enter an athlete to a competition, and I want to negotiate for his fee, I'll be given peanuts. Okay?
As compared to our white counterparts.
So if a European enters, the same athlete will be able to negotiate a better terms for that athlete. Now, what will make that athlete to stay with me if in terms of a contract for kitting, in terms of entering appearance fee for races is way less. Automatically they will choose a European or American or Australian agent than ourselves. And that is why if you look at the managers we have, those who are managing athletes, if there are any Africans, and especially those ones would be Jamaicans and Americans, they may not be more than 5 out of hundreds of agents that we have in the world.
That's really wrong. It's totally skewed because Africa produces a majority of athletes.
I know.
Yet the money they are paid it does not reflect.
Absolutely, and that is why I say it is the best question I've ever been asked, because most people would ask me, Wilfred, why don't you be an agent? Especially immediately I retired, people thought that, okay, Wilfred, why don't you become an agent?
Yes.
The best thing that you can be as Africans is a coach. And even being a coach, you can only be a coach when the athlete is starting.
Yes.
The moment they become on the top, they start getting the European coaches.
Yes.
You know, this is something again that that has really affected in terms of management of the sport, and especially for our retired athletes. I mean, not retired, but our athletes.
And so, how much does an agent make from an athlete?
15%
of the winning.
It is standard, yeah. Standard. 15% for every prize money you get, whether it is on contract, on winning prize, and on appearance fee, and any other thing. Like myself, if I participate on any function when I'm in Kenya here, first and foremost, the agent must follow that money, because you have a contract that says 15% of every earning you get has to go to the agent. Remember, Giles, this is something that also it goes, you know, they will deduct. I'll give you an example. If I run in Germany, there is 35% deduction, which is taxes.
Yes, tax.
Okay?
Yes.
Some agents are so scrupulous to an extent that if your prize money is $10,000, they will want to cut 15% from $10,000. Before tax. Before tax. Some of them. I don't want to say that everybody. But some of them will negotiate for you 10,000, and then tomorrow they will deduct that, and yet the money that you are going to receive is 6,500.
Yes.
For that purpose, if you are running in Germany, for example, and yet it was 10,000 when you are looking at the money, winning price is 10,000. But once you are running in Germany, 35% goes off. So 15% is the standard.
Interesting. Let's go back to a bit of your journey. Remember that when you joined running in 1999 in junior, so what drove you?
98 actually.
98.
Yes.
In the junior championship. What drove you? Did you see Bungei 10 years later, Olympic champion, Kenyan team captain?
First and foremost, I come from a family of runners. Wilson Kipketer, who was coached by Brother Colm, that you just mentioned. Henry Rono, who broke so many world records in early 80s, who is my first uncle. Wilson is my cousin. So for me, and even where I come from, the nucleus. The nucleus of where I come from, we have got so many athletes that come from there.
Kapsabet has very many.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember Kipchoge Keino, Sami Koskei, Pamela Chelimo, Janet Cheposkei, Agustin Choge, name them, you know. All these, we have, I think in a radius of 5 kilometers, you can get about 10, 15 gold medalists in Olympics in the same place. So I was fortunate to have that. But my story is so different. I always tell people that I'm a product of a school teacher. And why do I say that, Charles? The person who really saw that I have a talent of running was when I was in primary school. I remember, you know, during those years, if you are asked to come to staff room, it means you are in trouble. You know, unaanza kuchichuna.
Unakuja mbio sana.
Exactly. So for me, it happens that we had just gone for not even inter schools competition. So when I came back, you know, I was asked to come to the staff room. The next thing when I was in the staff room, you know, you enter a staff room, the first thing that you have to do is to kneel down. So then I was told, no, Wilfred, just sit down. So there's these two teachers, you know, one was Sami Mandako and Fred Keter. So they say, sit down. Then I asked me, Wilfred, the way we saw you running, you know, during the inter schools, I think you have a talent. Not that I was number one. Remember, it's not like I won. It does not mean that I was the best in the school. But they were able to see that Wilfred Bungei has a talent. It stuck in my mind for a very long time. Even when I moved to secondary school, I was thinking that why did these teachers told me that, Wilfred, you have a talent? So when I went to high school, I continued running, and that is why I was able to represent the country when I was in my Form 4 back in 1998 to represent the country in the junior championship. So for me, apart from coming from a family of runners, it was more of an encouragement from my teachers that they saw the talent, and therefore it inspired me. And I told myself, maybe if I try to run, I'll be able to make it. And I can tell you that the moment I was able to represent the country, I knew in one way or the other, I'll be able to achieve something big. Well, I didn't know that I would be able to get an Olympic gold medal, if I may say so, but at least I knew I would be one of the top athletes.
So the medal you first won, how was the feeling that time? This is Wilfred Bungei, I'm at the tape. This is my first medal.
Actually, I would not even put it the first medal.
Yes.
To make the Kenyan team. It was in Nyayo Stadium. And I remember the moment I won, no, I didn't win, I finished second, and I was selected.
Yes.
But even crossing the line and finishing second,
Yes.
and I knew that I was going to get a chance to represent the country, I cried, Charles, just like a baby, because it was so emotional for me.
Yes.
You may ask me why.
Yes.
I was coming from a school, not St. Patrick's. I was coming from somewhere.
Was everywhere.
Absolutely. I mean,
Brother Com was there.
Yes, Brother Com. Even the person who won, which is William Chirchir, was coming from Iten.
Yes.
There's other guys already who were from Iten and those top schools that were known for athletics.
Yes.
Now I was coming from Samoei Secondary School that was completely not known.
No, that was unknown in
here,
athletics.
In athletics, yes, in athletics terms.
Yeah.
So therefore, when I crossed the line and I met a team, I cried and I knew I'm destined for something very good. Of course, when I got silver medal, because again, we went to the World Championships, William Chirchir won gold, who was number one here during the junior trials. We used to call it, nowadays, it's called either under 17, under 20.
Yes.
So during our time, it used to be the juniors.
Yes, it was juniors.
So the person William who won here, went ahead and win during the World Championships, and I got silver. And it was, for me, my story, Giles, I come from a humble background.
Yes.
So when you look at yourself, that you have gone to that extent of being at the top, getting medals and all that, it is overwhelming. And I can tell you that, I think I've had two emotions. That one for the trials, and of course winning the Olympics.
So when you, after the junior championship, then you are fast-tracked into the senior team. When were you fast-tracked into the senior team?
Okay, I was 18, and then what happened is I was identified by an agent, by an Italian agent immediately. I got a chance to represent the country.
Yes.
I got an agent, Gianni De Madonna, who was an Italian.
Yes.
And in fact, when I finished junior championships, I did not come to Kenya. I went straight to Italy, do some few competitions, and then came back. And since I said, I was in Form 4, immediately I finished. Then I had to now move to Italy and took athletics as a profession. Because, it was difficult for me. Of course, some people were like, maybe I should join the military, the way we know that so many Kenyans, they're either in the disciplined forces, either the military, the police, the prisons, and all that. Yeah. So for me, I decided to pursue athletics purely as a profession. And therefore, from 1998, I started working with De Madonna all the way. Of course, in 2001, we had World Championships for the seniors.
Yes.
I participated again, win the trials here, went ahead and got silver as a senior. Participated another number of races. 2003, I got a bronze in World Indoors. 2006, I got gold medal indoors. And then, of course, 2008, got the gold medal in the Olympics. So it was progressive.
Actually, it was very progressive.
Yeah, my life in athletics, Charles, I always tell people that I took stairs. It was not a lift. It was not a lift because you can imagine from 1998 all the way to 2008.
10 years.
But of course, in between, I was one athlete that was very consistent. Many times, actually, I missed some top medals because of mistakes that I was learning. Such that by the time I was in 2008, I had learned all the other mistakes. That's why I was able to win the Olympics.
The Olympic medal was huge.
For me, I would say Olympic gold medal, yes. On personal level, yes, it is huge. Yes. But remember that I was selected here or voted here to be a team captain.
Yes.
And that is why it is the best thing that happened to me. It is the best emotions I ever got. And you may ask me why.
Yeah.
Number one, remember this is 2008.
After post-election violence.
Yes, we were coming from the post-election of 2007, 2008.
Yes.
In fact, all my press conferences in the Olympics in Beijing
Yes.
was not about, Wilfred, finally you have won gold medal.
Yes.
It was, Wilfred, how did you manage to bring the team
together?
Because to date and before,
Yes.
I was able to bring the highest medals ever we got in this country. 16 medals that I brought to this country.
Yes.
6 gold and number of silvers and bronze. And that is why people were asking themselves, how do Kenyans being able to perform this much, and yet there was a post-election violence?
In fact,
I can tell you that, that is why I say in terms of emotions, in terms of those things that I achieved, I think being the team captain is the best that happened to my life.
And that is the only Olympics which we had the highest number, because if you look at the medals, we've always compared it.
Yes.
To the Beijing Olympics.
Exactly.
Of 2000.
Everybody's comparing. Look at Rio. Rio was 13.
13,
People thought
yes.
that was the best.
Yeah.
But they had 13 medals.
That was 13.
Yes.
And the gold were not 6.
Yes.
Because that's the highest gold we've ever gotten in an Olympic championship.
Absolutely.
Since we started participating.
Yes.
So if you look at your journey of running, and you got, of course, you brought fortune and fame. And with fame came many other things. And you know that one of the biggest mistakes you did was alcoholism, which you took 13 years, now 11 years clean?
11 years, September 20th. I don't, look, Charles, I don't celebrate my parties. I don't even remember my parties. But I remember the last day I had a drink, which is 20th, the last bottle I had, which is 20th September 2012. This year, I'll be celebrating 11 years.
11 years sober.
Yes.
The journey of getting sober.
First and foremost, people may wonder, when did Wilfred drink and yet he was running?
Yes.
He retired, he won medal in 2008.
Yes.
I still competed 2 more years.
Yes.
What happened is that, 2010 I retired. There was a vacuum.
Yes.
Just I live a life of a sportsman or an athlete 365 days in a year.
Yes.
Then in 2010, when I retired, my life became empty. I didn't have much to do. So you would engage in, maybe you ask today for a bottle of wine. Before you know it, I was doing 5 liters of wine. I was doing maybe a liter of whiskey, of gin, of vodkas, all that. So that is 2010, 2011. And part of 2012, now all the way to September. Actually, what happened is I was the kind of a person that we call binge drinking.
Yes.
A situation whereby you drink for a whole week, and then maybe you stop for a month or 2.
Yes, then you continue.
Then you continue. But now, I realized there was a problem because, number one, there is so many things that happen in between. And the story, actually, I got involved in an accident.
That nasty accident. Which you,
that nasty accident
out?
in Westlands. I walked. Fortunately, something that is very interesting.
Yes.
Nobody was hurt. Remember, 7 cars was damaged.
Yes.
Some even, was really completely damaged. But fortunately, nobody even was hospitalized. And then, after that, somebody who was there, I remember a Mzungu lady, who saw what happened. Her car was part of those ones that was damaged.
Yes.
Then, when we went to police station to write statement, she gave to my wife a card. Yes. And she said, you know what, the way I saw this guy and everything that was happening, there must be a problem. This card, can you call this person? This person, Wilfred needs help. Charles, it took me, that was in May.
Yes.
It took me another 4 months of things that happened before I realized that the number that we were given in May, I should call. I remember it was 5 in the morning. I woke up in the morning. I was throwing up. I was feeling so bad. And I told my wife, please, can you get me the same card that you were given? I called Nairobi Place. I called my counselor called Fatma. And she asked me, please come right now. By 6, I was in Nairobi Place. And within 2 days, I was almost out. Why? Because I realized, because I was told I'm an alcoholic, I'm not supposed to touch alcohol. And I say, yeah, I know. Because you know why? If I don't drink, I'm a good person. The moment I drink, it is all chaos.
Yes.
So I went to Nairobi Place, and then I wanted to get out immediately. So the people who were all in, they voted and say, do we allow Wilfred to go back home or not? They voted no. After 2 weeks, they told me to stay for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, I made a decision to finish the whole 6 weeks of treatment. And Charles, I never regret that decision. Now, what is interesting is this. Most people, they may not realize what the problem, that they have a problem. Most people think that people drink because they drink. Let me tell you, what I learned in the Rebel Place, alcoholism is a disease, just like diabetes. Okay? The moment you have understood yourself that you're an alcoholic, you have no choice. For the rest of your life, you have to make a decision. Because as alcoholics, we have got 3 destinations. Number 1, institution, which is rehabilitation. Number 2 is jail. Number 3 is death. Now, I've already gone through the institution. Why do I say jail? You can imagine if during that time that I had an accident, maybe somebody was hurt or somebody dies.
It's jail straight.
It is jail straight. Okay? If you may smash a car somewhere and you die. So those are things that on personal level, I know that I can never go back, and that is why I'm counting. I'm taking a day at a time, but so far, September this year, it will be 11 years.